This program on investing under regulation crowdfunding is not investment advice.
Rising with the crowd, power unbound, change makers lead where hope is found. Superpowers for good, shaping the fate. Investors and dreamers open the gate. Super Crow stands loud, proud and true, building tomorrow for me and you.
After you invest in a business, wouldn't you like to be able to get a report from the CEO on how things are going, especially if they're going well? Well, I am excited today. One of the businesses that I invested in, and many of you have invested in, is a company called citizenportal.ai. And I have the CEO back with us. He was on the show before to report on the progress. And boy, they're blowing the doors off. You stick around. You don't want to miss this. Welcome to the Super Crowd Presents the Superpowers for Good show. I'm your host, Devin Thorpe, and our guest today is, again, Paul Allen, the CEO and founder of Citizen Portal. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back, Devin. It's great to see you again.
Oh, golly, the pleasure is all mine. We've been friends for, 100 years. And I was just reflecting before we got started that one of the things that connected us early was a bet we made about a football game, and you won the bet. And so I sang the BYU fight song at BYU and recorded it and put it on YouTube. It remains one of the most popular videos I've ever posted.
Yeah, those rivalries are amazing, and I'm really glad I won that bet.
Yeah, and last year, our teams, it was interesting to see both teams surprised. They're both in the new, what is it, the Big 12 or the Big 10? I can't remember.
Big 12,
yeah. And both teams surprised. My team cratered, and your team had a brilliant season. So congratulations on BYU's season last year. Very, very inspiring, showing great promise. But let's talk about Citizen Portal, my friend. We're here to talk about that. Things are going really gonzo in the best possible way at Citizen Portal. Tell us about it. Give us an update.
Well, it's super exciting. We do have a lot of work ahead of us to turn this into a very robust platform for tens of millions of citizens to become quickly informed and engaged, but things are going really well. A year ago, we were doing some phenomenal work transcribing hundreds of thousands of city, county, state, and federal meetings. And there was a really cool search engine where you could find out who said what about any topic all across the United States. There was a really fun heat map that would show, hey, you're talking about clean water, and there are all these different state legislatures and cities and counties talking about clean water. Whatever topic you were researching, you could have this amazing search engine experience to find out what's going on. And it was really fun and powerful, but it wasn't sticky. So we live in a consumer-friendly mobile app and website world, and most people love to scroll and click. And Apple News and Google News are super popular. They probably are used by hundreds of millions of people. So we redesigned the site to literally use AI to detect every important topic discussed in every government meeting. And we're talking about 1.3 or 1.4 million hours of meetings. But now the AI writes articles. And the format for citizenportal.ai is like a news site. And you just can scroll through and see every important topic discussed in every government meeting. You can also search and find all the topics being discussed, but it's much more like a consumable news site and not so much a research site anymore. So our traffic has skyrocketed. I think by the end of June, we'll have had 1 million people use Citizen Portal so far this year.
It's inspiring to see that. And, I think, the fact is unequivocal that regardless of your politics, we have become increasingly skeptical of our leaders. And so having a way to monitor them and people can adjust this, right? So customize their search and the way they monitor, what they monitor. So you're not getting deluged with everything, but it's refined. Tell us a little bit about how people can customize it so that it's giving them the information they're most interested in.
Yeah, the goal of the platform is not to support either party. It's a nonpartisan platform. It kind of replaces the dying newspaper industry. If you think about when we grew up, everyone read the newspaper, subscribed to the newspaper. I was a newspaper delivery boy, and hundreds of millions of people were kind of informed through the newspapers. But then the economics of the newspaper industry has kind of cratered in the last 30 years as Google and Facebook took all the online ad dollars. Newspapers can't afford to send a really good journalist to local city and county and state meetings. And so there's more and more of a gap, kind of a void of information. So what Citizen Portal does is it writes all these articles, hundreds of thousands of articles a month on every topic. And our algorithmic news feed isn't designed to sell your time and attention to any bidder. There's no advertising to speak of on the site. We have a subscription business model. We want people to pay to get quality information about what's going on. There's no spin, there's no partisan bias, and there's no kind of echo chamber. The algorithmic news feed we call Brain, Citizen Portal Brain. And Brain stands for bite-sized or brief articles, one kind of article per topic, relevant to you, bite-sized, relevant, actionable. What can I do as a citizen now that I've heard about what's going on in my county? Am I in favor of it? Am I against it? What can I do? So our team is coming up with lots of actions that are valuable and worth taking. And then I is either interesting or inspirational. And then N is news. It's breaking news. Nobody really cares that much about 30-day-old news. So the Brain algorithm is being enhanced so that you get to control the algorithm, get to change the dials and the levers, and there's no kind of secret black box algorithm. You'll be in complete control. And the relevance depends on where you live and what topics you're interested in. So the team is building a set of dials and levers so that Devon Thorpe, wherever you live, you will get the news feed that is informing you about the topics you care about at the school board level, at the city, at the county, at the state, and at the federal level. And where you can make a biggest difference as a citizen is to be informed about what's going on locally and show up and have your voice heard and know who your representatives are. We live in this representative democracy, and many people that I talk to don't even know a single name of who's on their city council. They might not even know who their mayor is. They don't know who their state legislators are. They're not really going to be represented if they don't even know who the people are. But if they do know who their representatives are and they care about 3 or 4 issues, the algorithmic news feed can keep you informed just a few minutes a week, and you'll be a fully participating citizen in participatory government.
It is so exciting to see what you're doing. And from a shareholder standpoint, as one who invested a tiny bit in this business, I'm thrilled and excited to see the progress.
Well, your
You know,
support has been especially meaningful, Devin, not only as an investor, but you're in this very professional crowdfunding association. And we were nominated last year and voted the top social impact crowdfunding campaign of 2024. And that means a ton to me and my team. It's a very big motivation to just see that lots of people voted that this is a potentially important social impact movement, not just a for-profit business. We do hope to have a seriously large return. Some of us worked at Ancestry.com in the early days 30 years ago, and I was the co-founder and CEO of that. Our lead architect at Citizen Portal was the first engineer at Ancestry for 2 years. So we've done this before and built scaling platforms that have billions of records. But thank you so much for your support and encouragement along the way.
well, I'm thrilled to have done a small part here, but it is so much fun to see your impact and your profits and your potential growing as a shareholder. As you look back now at the progress you're making, to what do you attribute the success you're having?
Well, AI makes everything possible. Just the idea that AI transcribe millions of meetings, that wasn't even feasible 5 or 10 years ago. So the pace with which LLMs have evolved and so many AI services companies, we've tried a whole bunch of different transcription services, and it's just amazing and mind another technical challenge, and we're making progress there to find out who said what when. So if you can analyze the speakers in each of those videos, then you can have a search engine so that you could find out what your governor or mayor said about any topic. So it's the evolution of AI that's making all these things possible. And then our team is super talented, very experienced. We've hired a chief AI officer from Austin, Texas, just a few months ago. She was at OpenAI back in 2019 as a research fellow when they were training GPT-2. And in 2020, as a contractor, she built some of the earliest technologies and AI tools that we've started deploying inside of SOAR AI Studio, which is the parent company behind Citizen Portal. But now she and her team are just doing fantastic work to bring more knowledge to citizens. And then we have some big plans to do intelligence for elected officials. If you think about it, Devin, the challenge that a representative has in a complex modern world is almost impossible. Let's say you were a school teacher and 20 years in to your career, you decide to run for state legislature. Well, guess what the citizens expect you to know about? Everything.
Everything.
Everything. Like you have had a great success in education, or maybe a police officer, or maybe a doctor or a lawyer, and now you're in the state legislature. And we expect you to know all about nuclear energy and nuclear regulation, artificial intelligence, communication, transportation, education, healthcare, finance, startups, and angel investing, and all the things that build Main Street businesses. Like, it is impossible for the average human to step into a role where you're voting for or against multiple billions or tens of billions of dollars and hoping that you get it right. Well, guess what? We all know that our representatives don't have super intelligence. They also are surrounded by donors and lobbyists who actually have access to them because they supported their campaign. So guess who writes most of the bills? It's the donors and the lobbyists who have a reason for their elected officials to do things that are beneficial to them. Who is harmed by this or who's overlooked? The average citizen. If you look at some of the studies done about legislative priorities all across the country, citizen priorities almost never get prioritized. Donors and lobbyists kind of get their way. So the goal of Citizen Portal in the coming months is to build AI superintelligence that our elected officials and their staff can tap into to find good policies across the country in the laboratories of democracy, good policies that led to good outcomes. Bad policies lead to bad outcomes. Good policies or wise policies lead to prosperity, happiness, safety, and the general welfare, which is what the founders aimed at. So I'm super excited, Devin. We're just getting started. We're a couple years in, but in the next few years, we think it'll not only be 1,000 times easier to become an informed and engaged citizen, we think it'll be 1,000 times easier to become an effective policymaker, advocating and supporting policies that lead to good outcomes, not bad outcomes.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's exciting. Now, you're also working on a couple of new initiatives under SOAR. Give us a quick, we just have a minute. Give us a quick overview of, I think you've got something with faith and something with family. Tell us a little bit about those tools.
Yeah, so if you think about what makes life worth living, obviously career and workplace is very meaningful. Most people work 80 or 90,000 hours. And so we hope you love your job. We hope you're satisfied that the work you've done is meaningful. But citizenship is about freedom and liberty and prosperity. And so we think that Citizen Portal is a worthwhile project and platform to launch. But the parent company behind Citizen Portal is about to launch Faith Portal, which will do kind of for the faith community what Citizen Portal is doing for government meetings. Imagine millions of sermons and powerful, uplifting religious messages that are, taught all over the world, are transcribed, and highlights or clips from the most important moment of a sermon are generated and shared on social media, all the short video formats. But just to think about how many important messages are being preached on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays all over the world. And the people that were there were uplifted, but most people didn't hear it. Or if you did hear it, you probably forgot it within a day or two. And so the goal of Faith Portal is to take the most important messages and invitations and teachings from religious communities and faith leaders and make them more searchable, more clippable, more shareable, so that you can amplify good messages that lead people to forgive or to drop contention or be a peacemaker or love your neighbor or love your enemy. All these messages are being delivered, but they're not sinking in deeply enough. So Faith Portal will try to address that at scale.
That's great. And your family portal, give us the 10-second version of that.
It's the resurrection of Ancestry.com's most important product of all time, myfamily.com. It was shut down in 2015. It was turned into a paid-only service in 2001. It kind of killed the growth of myfamily.com. So our team that was there at Ancestry for decades has relaunched it as familyportal.ai. It's a free intranet for families all over the world to connect with each other and share important content together.
Wow, that's great. I can't wait to go back and get. I was an early adopter of my family and overused it and abused it. I look forward to doing the same with Family Portal. That'll be great. Listen, folks, we got to take a quick break here, but let me just recap. I'm here with Paul Allen, the CEO and founder of citizenportal.ai, an amazing tool for monitoring all that's going on in the public sphere. And he raised money from the crowd. Many of you have invested along with me in the business. It's doing really, really well. He's back to give us a little report. Listen, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk to Paul about his superpower. You don't want to miss this.
Download a free copy of How to Make Money with Impact Crowdfunding. The book Sarah Hanks describes as
a fantastic overview, not just of crowdfunding investing, but of investing in general.
Andrew Civic raved,
"This book offers unparalleled insights for anyone looking to make a difference."
Scan the QR code to get your copy. SuperCrowd 25, where innovation meets impact.
18 hours of live content, 5 platforms, 1 global audience.
Join the largest event for regulated investment crowdfunding. Live pitches, expert panels, real change.
August 21st and 22nd.
Scan the code or visit thesupercrowd25.com to register free today.
Struggling to raise capital for your business? Unlock the power of the crowd with AI. My free guide, Crowdfunding Made Simple, walks you through every step to success. Get funded smarter, faster. Scan the QR code now for your free download.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here today with the amazing Paul Allen, the founder and CEO of Citizen Portal. We've been talking about the tremendous growth and success he's seeing with that business that was funded by the crowd. And we're shifting gears now to talk to Paul about his superpower. So stick around. Paul, you are someone I have always looked up to since we met decades ago. I am so excited to have you back. But what do you see as your superpower?
It's a fun question. I think all of us hope and wish that we could have some talents that are useful and lead us to success. I actually think my superpower is learning and finding data. So I was a Russian major in college. Before that, I started in poli-sci and international relations. So I was kind of a humanities guy, but I love books. I've been reading and loving books for so many years. After I graduated college with a degree in Russian, I started a master's degree in library science. And I knew that I was going to be publishing a lot of content on the internet, and I wanted to understand information retrieval and how content libraries are organized so that we could build the world's biggest genealogy library on the internet. So I dropped out of that program after a semester because Ancestry, or my first company, a CD-ROM publishing company, started taking off. But now that I look at Citizen Portal and what is needed, there's so much information at state, city, county, federal archives. There's so much content that I'm really grateful that I just have an insatiable curiosity for finding content in libraries, to researching archives, just finding hidden gems, public domain content or source material that's just not widely known. And then I have a wonderful team of people who have superpowers of taking that chaotic, fragmented data sets all over the world and turning them into a useful user experience. So kind of turning chaos into order and meaning, and helping hopefully hundreds of millions of people find the needles in the haystack that will make their life better, and that will, allow them to be successful with that information. So I just think I love learning. I love gathering content and making it more useful to people.
That is an amazing and powerful superpower. I'm jealous.
Well,
You do it.
Google's
You do a better job than I do. I have a similar curiosity, perhaps without the devotion to do the hard work that you have. Give us a tip, if you would, to guide us on how we can emulate you, how we can tap into our own desire, our own curiosity to learn more. Because I think all of us have a kernel of that, but I also think all of us want to be able to learn more.
Well, I think some people are born with certain talents. The Gallup or Clifton Strengths Finder assessment, which has been taken by 35 million people, I worked for them for 5 years, and I learned about the 34 talents that Don Clifton identified. So my advice isn't to try to emulate someone else. My advice is to study your Clifton strengths, find out what your top 5 or top 10 strengths are. If you have learner, you're automatically wired to learn, and you're constantly learning. Like, you wake up with a desire to learn, you go to bed with a desire you're a learner. And that's my number one strength. So reading books, learning is natural to me. It's energizing to me. Some people want to be out doing things or connecting with people, and they're wired differently than I am. But my number 2 strength is really interesting. It's the strength called input. And when I was in 9th grade or 12th grade, no counselor or teacher ever said, Paul, you have a strength called input. You should lean into that. Well, what is input? It's a natural desire to gather content or information and share it with other people. So it turns out that the great psychologist Don Clifton, who studied hundreds of thousands of successful people during his career, he identified that some people are gatherers and distributors of things. And I happen to be genealogy content or government and political content. Other people might be using their input for recipes or for collecting cars or whatever. But just do what you were designed to do. Don't try to lean into someone else's strength. I really encourage everyone to take the Clifton Strengths Assessment. I think it's $20 to get your top 5 strengths. And then everyone can use that as a guide to finding their own superpowers. And Don Clifton made it clear, don't try to be a well-rounded individual, because the people that are successful in life are the people that have an extraordinary strength. And so find 1 or 2 of your top strengths and lean further and further and further into that, so that people can say, how did you do that? That's amazing. Don't try to be well-rounded and be good at everything, or don't try to take your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. But I highly recommend that people take the Clifton strengths and find their favorite strengths and go as deep and as far as they can with that to make a positive impact, to do your dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs would say.
Yeah. Now, Paul, as we wrap up here, take a minute now and tell us how people can sign up for Citizen Portal and how they can connect with you. You're a big deal. You're busy. What's the best way to follow you, connect? Tell us about that.
So I'm maxed out with 30,000 LinkedIn connections, so I can't take incoming invitations. However, I have about 43,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I publish on LinkedIn several times a week, mostly about Citizen Portal and other AI initiatives. So go to citizenportal.ai and sign up for free. There's a free account where you can put in your zip code, and the AI will start customizing your news feed based on where you live. You can also start adding keywords and phrases that you want to show things in the news feed that match your personal interests. So that's a free service. We do have a $100 a year subscription for people that want deeper research tools and access to more data sets. And so we would love for people to become an annual supporter, a paying subscriber, a member of the Citizen Portal community, where we're trying to build a platform to strengthen our democratic way of life and have more people become informed and engaged. In terms of communicating with me, definitely follow me on LinkedIn, where I'm very actively publishing. I also have a blog that I haven't updated for about a year on paulallen.ai. I intend to become active again, publishing not only on LinkedIn, but also on paulallen.ai later this year.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, we are so grateful that you came back to give us an update. It's exciting to see your progress. We wish you every success with the great and important work that you're doing.
Thank you so much, Devin. And thank you for encouraging so many people to use their superpowers for good and to invest in the great crowdfunded products that are available today. I'm likewise a big admirer of you, and I've been admiring you ever since we first met.
Thank you. Now, let's do some good.